So it is the difference
Sales minus
between
cost of goods sold.
sales revenue minus direct expense.
Yes, sales revenue minus direct expenses. This is your gross profit. And this we should have explained, we should have spoken about it not once, at least 10 times. Now, you tell me, if this was explained earlier several times, it does not require too much of, understanding on accounting. It does not require several things. You only are supposed to remember. Now, if you reach a stage for on this topic, ratio analysis, and you are asked to calculate, the earlier discussion that we had in detail is not clear. I can understand if there was some conceptual part, you miss that conceptual part, you will require a lot of time to understand, to refresh that memory. It's a different issue. But when some plain things were discussed, this minus this, what great thing is required to recall that? You will not be able to attempt to ratios if that part is not clear. So try to refresh your memory, try to keep in mind, try to memorize, remember, understand everything which has been discussed before. Otherwise, the discussion that follows and will follow, you will find it difficult. You have already spent about 30-35 classes. Which day are we perhaps in? Should be about close to 30 classes, maybe more. And
Sir,
still,
28.
sorry,
28, sir.
today is 28th. Okay,
Yes, sir.
today is 28th, and if you take 2 remedial classes that we conducted, it becomes 30. Although it was not necessary, but those of you who were interested, you might have joined. About 30-35 students joined. So after spending 30 days, if something which was taught on early, this I told in the beginning itself, the entire course is dependent, the sessions are dependent on each other, and that had lot of requirements which usually people forget, and you are no exception. You have also forgotten, you have also not paid any attention to, and this is the result. Anyway, once again I exhort upon you, you revise it time and again, and better revise it as many times as you can remember. So now let us come to this one. So gross profit is equal to, see, I can explain it here also. Then what is the purpose of teaching, earlier classes? If somebody asks me, anything which is new here, I'll explain in detail. But anything which has already been covered, naturally I am not expected to I will explain if you want, but it will be your waste of time. All right, just remember it and try to follow. So gross profit is the difference between sales revenue minus all direct expenses. So from the given figures, you find out gross profit. Sales figure will be available. Make these mathematical calculations. You will get an answer. It will tell you how efficiently is the company managing its revenue, how efficiently is the company managing its direct expenses. Then you will get a percentage. Then calculate net profit margin or net profit margin ratio. So it will be net profit divided by sales. Now what will be net profit? It will be gross profit minus the rest of the expenses, or all indirect expenses, or sales revenue minus all expenses, will give you a figure of net profit. When net profit is divided by sales, you get net profit ratio. For example, if I write here 34%, for one company you calculated, and I write here 35%. Is this possible or not?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
If I write here, this possible or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, what does it mean? Let me make it round figure. What does it mean? A company, its gross margin is 35%, net margin is 25%. What do you conclude from this?
So we conclude that gross profit can more than the net profit because gross
Okay.
profit is So
Any
yes,
other answer?
There are some indirect expenses as well.
There are some indirect expenses as well, and indirect expenses have to be there. Any other answer?
Indirect expenses are 10% of the sales.
Very true. Indirect expenses are 10% of sales. Any other answer? Direct expenses are 65% of sales, isn't it? Okay, okay. What all you have said is correct. Now I am giving you one figures which is in red font. The other figures are usually black font. This information is about company A. This information is about company B. Which one is doing better? One with red or one with black?
So first one.
Which one?
First one, the black one.
Black one, sir.
The red one is doing better. Black one.
So which has got 25% net profit.
Which has got 25% net profit. Okay, because ultimately you are concerned with the net profit, not with gross profit. All right. Now we come to another ratio, investment turnover. Investment turnover, in order to calculate investment turnover, first we should know sales is given. First we should know what is investment. Investment is equal to, you can take out a piece of paper and note down, is equal to fixed assets plus current assets minus current liabilities. I will repeat. Fixed assets plus current assets minus current liabilities. What have you noted? Can anyone of you read it out?
So fixed asset plus current asset minus current liabilities.
Can anyone tell me, is there any other way in which it can be written?
Sir, fixed assets plus working capital.
Say it again. Fixed assets plus?
Working capital.
No. Slightly modify your answer. Fixed assets plus? See, when you say
fixed asset
yes,
plus net working capital.
that is the correct way, net working capital. Because when you say working capital, you normally mean current assets. Because you see, the capital with which you are working on day-to-day basis. Therefore, it is always desirable to say, if you are talking about the current assets minus current liabilities, it is equivalent to net working capital. So when you say fixed assets minus net working capital, plus net working capital, it will be as good as saying that fixed assets plus current assets minus current liabilities. Okay. Before I proceed, before I tell you, what is the interpretation? What answer do we get in how? I explained to you something while we were talking about fixed assets turnover. Why do we calculate investment turnover? Can anyone answer why should we calculate investment turnover? This was not explained to you long ago. The logic was explained to you only yesterday. Logic was explained to you only yesterday. Why should we calculate investment turnover? Okay, if not now, you think over it. Whenever it comes to your mind, raise your hand, maybe interrupt me, and then you tell me that why should we calculate investment turnover. See, this you can see in every book, how to calculate it. You may also get in the books, why do we calculate, but not most of the book will cover. Okay, but still,
Sir,
yes.
sir, it tells about the efficiency at the mid level of managing.
Okay, any other way of explaining it?
So to maybe know that the ability of the management to earn revenue through the funding, like how much more funding would we need so that there'll be more revenue?
I think it's still the very, no, I think it's still the very logic for which we are calculating. You are not able to recall. Anyhow, I mean, I'll still not say anything. See, there is more to it. The basic idea behind this is more to it, which perhaps you are missing. But anyway, somehow I don't know what to say.
Sir, to compare
But
the company.
to compare two companies. Okay. I gave you 2-3 examples yesterday. I gave you 2-3 examples, 1 or 2 examples from accounting and 1 or 2 examples, maybe 2 examples in a very common language. Okay, now, before I proceed, I am giving you 30 seconds, just 30 seconds. Write down your roll number now. In the chat box, write down your roll numbers. Start writing your roll number in the chat box. Am I not audible to you?
Yes, sir.
You are
Am I
audible.
audible to you or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then start writing your roll numbers in the chat box. Connection with problem. Have all of you finished? Is still anyone who has not yet written the roll number? I think all of you have written by now. So we proceed to our discussion. Now come back to the discussion that we were having. So we calculate investment turnover. We get it in terms of time, like, assets turnover, fixed assets turnover, debtors turnover, creditors turnover. Let us say our answer is 7 or 7 times. How do we interpret this investment turnover? How do we interpret this?
Sir, I can
it tells
explain it,
us
sir.
how good we are.
Sir, if the industry guideline is
Yes,
like
explain.
4.5, so and if our investment turnover is 7, it shows that our company is doing good. While on the other hand, if our
No, first tell me. No, that is fine. It is what you are saying is a comparison. Your comparison is fine. What is the meaning of this one? First meaning, then comparison. Yes, somebody
Sir,
wanted to say.
if we invest if we invest 1 unit of investment, it gives us 7 unit of sales.
Correct, very true. By investing by investing 1 rupee, we are generating sales of rupees 7. Higher the turnover, better it would be for the company. This is how it can be interpreted, and it will measure the efficiency of your management. But if it measures the efficiency of management, why is it that the stakeholders are interested? Why is it that we are including in profitability ratios? What is the answer? Maybe this can give you some clue to answer the question that I asked maybe 5 minutes before. If it is measuring the efficiency of middle level or senior level or average level of management, why is it that we are calculating this in profitability ratios? Why is it that stakeholders will be interested in this? Okay, still not. Okay, I will certainly tell you. You will be able to recall. Now we calculate another ratio, which is very extensively used, known as return on investment. I think I had explained it before. No, I have explained it on the earlier slide. ROI, return on investment. How do we calculate return on investment? We calculate. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, good. How do we calculate return on investment? We calculate return on investment by multiplying these two figures that we just now calculated. Investment turnover multiplied by net profit margin. Net profit margin we calculated here. Investment turnover we calculated here. If we multiply these two, we will be in a position to get an answer of investment. Sorry, we will be able to get an answer on return on investment. If net profit margin, let us say, was 25%, we will talk about this. What will be return on investment of the company? Not one with red figures, I will delete them, or maybe let them remain here. What will be net profit margin? Sorry, what will be return on investment?
175%.
How much?
175%.
175.
Yes, sir.
7/25.
Say it again. Just 7 upon.
25.
I mean, this is such a simple. What all you need to do, you need to multiply the investment turnover to be multiplied by net profit margin.
17.5%.
1.75.
17.5%.
Yes, sir.
1.75. You express it in terms of.
1.75. 1.75.
Let me write ROI in percentage. In
So 125%.
percent term.
150%.
Whatever in percent terms, you will calculate in percentage. So before I discuss more about it, let me take you to the next slide. I'll take up these a bit later, but let me give you the importance of this ROI. Why is it extensively used? Why is it considered a very comprehensive? It is considered very, very comprehensive method of calculating profitability of a company. Why is it so? Let me take you to the next slide. Then I will come back and explain to you about the remaining ratios within this group. Now look at this slide. I have written return on investment. Now consider this slide as you have made this slide using an Excel sheet. I hope all of you are comfortable using Microsoft Excel, or there is still someone of you who have not yet tried how to use Excel, MS Excel. If some of you still have not tried, better you do it as soon as possible. The earliest you can do, better it is. Why is it so? Because these days, using MS Word, all the 4 or 5 features or 4 or 5 section of your Microsoft Excel are something which are essential requirements. One is called literate only once you know how to use Word, how to use Excel, how to use PPT, how to use Microsoft Outlook, how to use whatever are the components. At least minimum you should know. So now those of you who are comfortable, they will be able to understand what I am referring it to. So you are, look at this. I have changed this to, suppose you are doing it in a MS Excel. What is ROI? Look at the where my cursor is. ROI is equal to net profit margin into investment turnover. What is net profit margin? I had explained before. Net profit margin is equal to net profit upon sales. What is investment turnover? Sales divided by investment. Now come here in the fourth line. Net profit margin is equal to gross profit margin minus indirect expenses. Wherever you have any question, ask me. Otherwise, the purpose of this chart will not be served. Every figure, everything that I have mentioned here, we have discussed long before, but still I am open to explain to you. You just ask me. So gross profit minus all indirect expenses. And what is investment? Investment I have mentioned here. Investment is equal to, a small correction will be required, fixed assets plus current assets minus current liabilities. Now all these things I have listed here. What are direct expenses have been listed here. What all indirect expenses have been listed here. What are fixed assets have been listed here. What are current assets? All have been listed here. What are current liabilities? All have been listed here. Now before I further go, just tell me, are the figures given here or the formula or the way it has been calculated given here is clear? If not, I'll explain more. Then only I'll explain to you more about this chart. Do you require any explanation, any details of the chart available to you, or you can see on the screen? Either say yes, sir, or you say no.
So excuse me, sir, what is this? Sales is equals to sales minus returns?
Yes. When you are taking the figure of sales, it should be taken net of sales return. The gross sales, and if somebody has returned the goods you sold, then it should be net sales. So sales is equal to sales minus sales return. You may perhaps delete this, space. Sales minus sales return. Sales is equal to sales minus return, or maybe write further minus sales return. Net sales should be taken.
Excuse me, sir.
Net profit is equal to gross profit. Yes, sure.
So net profit equals to gross profit minus all expenses.
Minus indirect expenses.
I think
because direct expenses you have already subtracted, isn't it? Here you have subtracted.
Okay, sir.
All right. For this, in order to understand this fully, once again, refer to those chapters, those days when preparation of profit and loss account was discussed. All right. Now look at, now let me come to the very purpose for which this chart has been displayed like this. Let us say, wherever the figures have been mentioned in bold fonts, let me start with this figure, 8,000. So this 8,000 is what? It is the sum of direct expenses. 4 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1, isn't it? 4 plus 2, 6 plus 1, 7 plus 1, 8. So I have not written here 8,000 like this. What I should have done? Those of you who are comfortable with Excel, tell me what should have been done?
Auto sum.
Sir, they should have
say it again loudly.
So you should have used the sum
You should have used the sum method. You are absolutely right. I have used the sum method. This 8,000 I have not mentioned. I should have written sum is equal to, within bracket, this cell, this cell, this cell, and this cell. So this is a summation through formula of these 4 cells. Similarly, this should be summation through formula of these 4 cells. That means the moment I change this figure from 500 to 400, this would automatically be changed to, suppose I make this figure 400. What will happen to this figure automatically?
So 1300.
It will become
So 1300.
What will this figure become?
1300.
1300. Correct, simple. Suppose I am writing here building furniture, machinery, and this 1500. 1500 is what? Total of fixed assets. Total of fixed assets. So if I this also I should have done using a formula. That means all these figures which are appearing in bold font are summation or whatever, either sum or minus or multiplication based on formula. Now come here, come to top. For example, if we are writing here investment is equal to 2000. How I should have done? I should have done it using a formula. I should have done here this total plus this total minus this total, isn't it? So this 2000 would not have been written by me using 2000, but I should have typed a formula. I should have typed a formula. I should have typed a formula here. If this aspect is clear, then only I'll proceed. If this aspect is clear, all these figures which are given in bold type would not have been written, but would have been derived using the summation or subtraction, etc., etc. Then what happens when this figure would have been calculated? I should have used this this cell multiplied by this cell, and the answer should be 30. Am I clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
When this would have been done, assume that this 500 is changed from 500 to 499. I just make this change. This 500 is reduced from 500 to 499. Should this figure change automatically or not? This figure should automatically change. So what is happening now? See what is happening now. If there is any change in any of the figures mentioned here, your return on investment ROI will automatically change. And what all figures I have written here, by and large, these are total financial health parameters of a company. You have fixed assets, you have current assets, you have current liability, you have profit loss account debit side, you have profit loss account credit side, what all you include in expenses, what you include in income, what all you include in asset. Everything is mentioned here on ROI, and any change anywhere automatically will get reflected in your ROI. This is why it is considered as a very comprehensive method of calculating financial health of a company. Before I proceed further, before I explain to you further about this method, ask me if there are questions. Yes. Any question here up to this stage? Am I audible to you all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are there any question here up to this stage?
No, sir.
No. Now then what all you should do, you already have saved this slide in your cell phone or laptop or wherever you have. Open, not now, later. Open an Excel file, go to one worksheet and convert this slide into the worksheet with the same figures. First of all, use same figures. Then see if the answer matches or not. Can you do that? Sorry?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Try to open a worksheet, enter these figures, do it the way exactly I have asked you to do. Use a formula here, use a formula here, because what formula will you use here? Can anyone tell me? The cell in which your net profit margin has been mentioned. sorry, the cell wherein your gross profit margin has been mentioned, gross profit figure has been mentioned, the cell where your indirect expenses have been mentioned, you will take the difference between these two cells. So naturally, you will get this figure, because your direct expenses are 8,000, indirect expenses are 1,400, sales is 10,000. Like this, if you go on and on, you will get these figures through formula, and ultimately you will arrive at this answer. And as a very first step, you do it using MS Excel. Then maybe you can use some other figures of your choice just for practice purposes. And you will realize the importance of this ratio, that is return on investment. Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Tell me one thing. While explaining you, I told it is very, very comprehensive method of judging the financial health of a company, because the entire data of the balance sheet and profit loss account is available here. Is entire data available of the profit loss account and balance sheet, or some figures are missing?
Sir, indirect income from profit and loss account is missing.
Profit loss account is missing? No. If you from sales, you subtract all expenses, don't you get profit loss figure?
Sir, I said indirect income is missing.
Indirect income is missing. Okay. So indirect income, maybe we have not mentioned here, we have only mentioned here sales return for a reason, because it adds up to a very, very small fraction of total percentage. If a company is into a thing of any company of your choice, what will be its indirect income? If we take any automobile company, if we take any bank, if we take any consulting firm, so their other income will be minuscule, very, very small fraction of percentage. If total revenues are 1,000 crore, what will be indirect income? Maybe few lakhs or few crores. So that will not make much of the difference. Any other income which you think is missing? Sorry, any other figure you think is missing here?
Sir, long-term liabilities and shareholders' funds.
Long-term liabilities are missing there. All right, your observation is correct that long-term liabilities are missing. If long-term liabilities are missing, can we still call it a very comprehensive measure, or long-term liabilities should have been included in the calculation? Is the question clear? I'll repeat. I made a statement that ROI is a very comprehensive measure of judging the financial health of a company. Correct? One of you pointed out that in this chart, long-term liabilities are missing. Now the question is, in the chart, the figure of long-term liabilities are not available. Can we still call it a comprehensive measure of the financial health of a company, or it lacks in something? Now, is the question clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that means should we include long-term liabilities here, or we can manage without? Should long-term liabilities be included, or this is good enough to measure the return on investment?
So this is good enough.
Why?
Because long-term liabilities will not change, and it is on per year basis.
Okay. Any other logic? Okay, I am leaving you here. I am not expecting further answers. I will post it in the classroom. You take your time and come up with an explanation, not a lengthy explanation, an explanation of about a paragraph or so. If you are able to answer it correctly, means conventions. And moving on to the aspect that we were discussing. I completed up to this. We can come to the next group of ratio. Sorry, next type of ratio in the profitability group, which is EPS. It stands for earning per share. EPS stands for earning per share. It is equal to earning after interest and taxes. Those of you who are not listening to these terms for the first time, make a note. These abbreviations. EPS stands for earning per share, and EAIT stands for earning after interest and taxes. If you divide earning per share is equal to earning after interest and taxes divided by number of shares, you get earning per share. Suppose for another company is 4. Which company is better? One
So the one having 4.
One which is earning 4. Okay. Then we have another ratio. I'll come to this later. I'll come to this one. DPS. DPS stands for dividend per share. Let me take it one after the other so that you may start discussion in a better way. Dividend per share stands for dividend paid by the company. Dividend paid by the company divided by number of shares. One company is earning 3, and for example, here dividend per share is 2, and dividend per share is, let us say, 2, and in another case, dividend per share is 1 second. Number of share, EPS is 3. Let me. This should be black. 3, and one company is earning 4. Another company's DPS is dividend per share is 4, and this is 2. Once again, make it. Even this can be changed to 1.50 or make it 2. Now let me first explain to you dividend per share. So dividend paid divided by number of shares. So one company it is 2, for the other company it is 3. Which one is better? Let me repeat. Let me first repeat. Is the meaning and calculation of EPS is clear?
Sir,
earning
AIT, please tell again.
Earning after interest and taxes. Earning after interest and taxes. Or you can say profit after payment, after everything has been paid out. Profit or earning after interest and taxes. Whatever company's earning are, if these are divided by number of shares, you get earning per share. Whatever dividend company pays, if it is divided by number of shares, you get dividend per share. The company is paying 2 dividend per share. Yes.
So can you please explain what is dividend paid?
Okay. Dividend paid is, see, once the company earns profit, or not necessarily earns profit, in ordinary case, the company has prepared profit loss account. It has made a profit of rupees 1,000. From this 1,000, it will pay taxes. It will pay to everyone. It will pay taxes. It will pay to preference shareholders. Whatever it remains from this company will pay to the people who are its shareholders. Because the return which is paid to the shareholders is known as a dividend. So because you invested, those people who have invested money in the company, they will get dividend. So dividend per share means whatever dividend company is paying to each shareholder. If you have purchased 1 share, you will get 1, in proportion. If I have got 100 shares, I'll pay it accordingly. Somebody has got 1,000 shares, he will receive accordingly per share. Depending on number of shares one has bought in the company, he or she will get a dividend. So dividend means profit that the company is paying or distributing among its shareholders. That is the meaning of dividend. When you invest,
Okay, sir.
when you deposit money in the bank, what bank gives you?
Interest.
In return, what does bank give you?
Interest.
Interest. When you deposit money, when you invest money in the company in the form of equity shares, what do you return? What do you get in return?
Dividend.
Dividend.
What you get in is dividend. I think the time is up now. It is 8:50. We will continue our discussion tomorrow, inshallah. But think of the question that I just now asked you. I'll post it in the classroom.